Welcome back to the art room. This week it's all about creativity. Creativity is just connecting things together in a new way, whether it's an idea and you put that idea together, whether it's words and you creatively form a new way of putting those words together, maybe in poetry. It could be in music and how you arrange notes in a new way. Today we're going to use it in drawing and objects. How could we use everyday objects in a different way that's creative? Some of us may find this very freeing. We enjoy thinking this way. We can look at a towel in the floor and see a face in it or sculpt a face out of it, and we're very creative with whatever we're given. Some of us, and I would put myself in this category, are a little more concrete. That means that we kind of like to see what we're going to draw ahead of time, and we might make some changes to it and be creative in that way. We might find a new way to use a tool and be creative in that way, but we actually need the object to start with. We need both sides of creativity. We need some people all across that line who can think up new things out of thin air and who can develop things even better. This week, we're going to be using found objects to create our artwork. I'm going to introduce you to 3 artists to give you a little bit of inspiration about how this could look. The basic supplies you'll need are paper, pencil, pen, and your coloring supply. Actually, pen you don't have to have, you just may find that you like having a pen for this project. So paper, pencil, coloring supply, maybe a pen. And you're going to need 5 objects from around the home. I would recommend watching through the video and getting some ideas before you go find the objects. That might make more sense. All right, here we go. Let's get started. The first artist I want to introduce you to this week is Javier Perez. He's an Ecuadorian artist who is an illustrator. He sells his artwork to magazines and to advertising companies, and is very, very successful at what he does. And on the side, he creates these doodles to share. Some of these actually have been used in illustrations as well, and in advertisements as well. And as you look at them, you can probably see how. Here's one of my favorite, his dinosaur of chips. So see how he used a found object in a simple doodle. That just means an easy, simple drawing. That's what a doodle is. So he used a found object and a doodle to create a dinosaur. Maybe you have a broken pencil lying around. Here's what Mr. Perez did with his. I think this is super creative because he used his actual notebook to create something here. It could be things that he sculpts himself, like this Oreo that he made into a globe. What all of his artwork has in common is this very simple drawing. Notice that they're also black and white. He doesn't have to add color. He actually lets those objects stay the color and keeps his doodle black and white. All right, here's another artist, Victor Nunes. He's a retired art director who lives in Brazil. And in his retirement, he started creating these doodle images and sharing them, and it's become a second career for him. He uses one object in many different ways in his artwork, and a lot of times he has it around the subject matter of faces. So he'll find different ways to add faces in, whether it's a rubber band or a pair of scissors. He likes to create that way. Notice that he uses the same object, but he uses it multiple times in different ways. So as you're thinking about what object you're going to collect, maybe you want one object that you have many of, and you can think of many different little doodles, little sketches that you could put with it. Mr. Nunes is a little more detailed in his drawing than Mr. Perez, but notice he still keeps things black and white. He lets that object stay the color. All right, the last artist I want to introduce you to is Edgar Artist. Isn't that a great last name? He is an Armenian artist. He works out of France because he's a fashion illustrator, and that is a hub for a lot of fashion. He creates illustrations for cosmetic companies and for fashion lines. And he creates, on the side, these dresses, these suits, out of everyday objects. Quite often for him it's food, which I think is kind of fun. Here's a dress that he's created, and he didn't leave the guys out. We have a chocolate tuxedo. He even uses nuts and bolts. Sometimes I've seen toothpicks and Q-tips and flowers to make dresses. His drawings are a little more detailed. In fact, if you'd like to see more from him, down below in our extra section is a video of him showing how he uses his colored pencils to add this color and depth to his drawing. So if you're interested at all in shading and realistic drawing, you'll definitely want to take a look at that video. It's just a minute or two long, and it shows how he created one of these and then how he used the found objects to create with that as well. So out of these three artists, I'm wondering if one of them maybe really stood out to you. Which one did you think, oh, I get that? Or, oh, I wonder if I could use this? Or, or I'm hungry and now I want to eat something, because some of them use food. I want you to find 5 objects. They can be all the same, like Mr. Noons when he used all the rubber bands or all the paper clips. They could be 5 different objects, maybe like Mr. Perez, a pencil and chips and half of a cookie and a flower. Whatever it is, you just need 5. And here's my request from you. I would like to see you fill your paper. And so what I mean by that is, here I used pony beads. And because they're so small, I did it several different times. I actually have some more up above here. So I did 5 different drawings because they're so small. But when I did an illustration, more like Mr. Artist, it took up my whole page. And so I used more than 5, right, objects down here to fill up my page. So whichever way you go, if you want to do one thing that fills your entire page, maybe you want to draw a picture or a landscape or tell a story, or you could do 5 individual little drawings on your paper. All right, my friends, this was a fun lesson. I was super excited to do this with you. I personally found it challenging to think outside the box on this, but it's so good for us to stretch our brains in these ways, even if this doesn't come natural to you. So if I can do it, I know you can do it too. I hope that you share some of your artwork with me. I can't wait to see what you come up with, and I'll see you again next week.